So I talk about a lot. I talk a lot about just feeling like the oddball out. Um, just being on the opposite end of a lot of shit that majority of people are doing in popular culture. And I want to talk about how I used rejection sensitivity to heal my need for outside validation. And that's not to say that I'm not a human being and that I don't need outside validation, because it is a human need for us to have a validation of other people, especially people that we are in community with, right? Um, but I don't know. I've always been a person who has had their own mind, their own brain. And when it comes to like this BPD thing, yes, I've struggled with um, identity disturbance, but I will say that y'all, when it comes to BPD don't run me. I runs BPD up at this bitch, okay? And that's why I go so hard with pushing out videos that talk about like the hope and the goodness on the other side of this shit, because we don't gotta live with this shit and have it running our lives, you know? But yeah, like I've always been that person. I've always been the oddball out, the underdog. But you know, that allowed me to really just like appreciate myself so much more. And I really had to like get down in the dirty and isolate myself for a very long time, because I didn't understand what my problem was. And in hindsight, the isolation really did a lot for me, because it allowed me to really cultivate an appreciation for who I am. And you know, it was, and I'm not gonna glamorize that a long time in that isolation period, because it wasn't pretty. I went through a lot of crying. I went through a lot of praying. I went through a lot of just hurt and pain, just coming into the acceptance of like who I truly am. And who I am, I'm a leader. Who I am is someone who just has a great appreciation and respect for life as a whole. And I don't know. I know that I came here to do something bigger and add something different to the world. And I had to have that a long time in order to like really appreciate that. And I had to be like rejected from people because everybody didn't have that. And it took me a while to really get that shit into my mind, is that everybody didn't come here to have like these grand big old plans. Some people really just want to get married, have kids, you know, have a nice house. And I love that for them. But that was never me, you know, and I had to really stick stick it out and really see that for myself, because the fact that I didn't see everybody else wanting that for themselves, it affected me. It made me not want that for myself. But at the end of the day, when you have something that that you are born with, that is down on the deep down inside of you, whether you believe in God or not, but that God, for me, is that God has given me, honey, okay? Yeah, I'm a see it through, you know. And it's like when you have something that's on your heart so bad, you will do anything to allow it to come into fruition, right? And for me, that anything was that isolation period, so that I could really get in tune with the fact that this is my dream, not nobody else's. Not nobody else's. And if it take me being rejected from society or being rejected from people that are doing everything that is the same, then so be it. That's okay. But it took me a while to get there. I didn't just get to that self-acceptance overnight. And to be honest, like even in my, if you go down further down my page, I've been talking about my first episode of my podcast, which was 2022, talked about self-acceptance. It talked about self-acceptance. And at that time, I was still trying to accept myself. And I feel like I am finally at a place where I actually do accept myself, to the point where I don't even got to talk about it. Like when I'm first meeting people, this is my fucking platform, so I'm going to talk about it. But when I'm just meeting people, I don't got to talk about it. I could just be regular. I can be normal. I don't got to shove that shit down people's throat. It's like the work that I'm doing, the work that I'm putting into my brand, and the work that I want to do in the world will speak for itself. I don't gotta keep talking about that shit when I'm meeting people and like trying to convince myself Not really even trying to convince they ass. It was me trying to convince my damn self. But yeah, rejection sensitivity, it's not that I don't feel it. Trust me. Sometimes I wish I could fit in. Sometimes I do wish that, because it's a lot less lonely, I would say. If you could fit in with the majority of people, like, it's definitely like a lot less lonely. But I don't have that. I don't have that urge to really let go of who I truly am in order to fit in with society. That's just not who the fuck I am, baby. Like, I've never been that. I've always gone against the grain. My dad used to say all the time, he's like, me and your mom have accepted that you're not a child that's going to move in a straight line. I'm always going to be here, and motherfucking here. At any given moment, I can do whatever I want to put my mind to. And that is truly, honestly, the reason why I have that fearlessness and that bravery and that courage, and that willpower to do whatever the fuck it is that I want to do, is because I sat my ass down and I was forced to really truly accept who I am. Naima is. I didn't really have the luxury of conforming. I tried it, but to be honest, the more that you try to conform and fit in with people, the more you stick out like a fucking sore thumb. It was never my calling, baby, okay? Trust me when I say I wanted to be an IG baddie, down. I wanted that for myself, down, bitch. But it's just like, that's not who I am. And it's not even that I wanted it. It just was more so like, that's what's acceptable. And I say this all the time, like, who doesn't want to be accepted? Everybody wants to be accepted, you feel me? But that's not how the cookie crumbled for me. God had a different plan for me, and the plan is still growing, baby, okay? Very excited, very happy. But I will say that I'm very grateful that I took time out to learn how to accept myself, because for one, it gives me like an edge over rejection sensitivity, because rejection sensitivity is a very real thing when it comes to ADHD and BPD. It hurts like hell. It just makes you feel like you're an outcast, and like people are gonna up and fucking leave you. It's very much a real thing, and I'm not gonna sit here and invalidate it. But because I was able to sit down and really come to terms with who I am, and know that I am strong regardless of who is with me or not, it has made it a lot less difficult to handle and deal with in real life. When it does creep up on me, because it creeps up on a bitch, okay, and it comes in strong, and she have a good stronghold when she come through. But yeah, rejection sensitivity ain't no hoe. But I just wanted to say that to say, like, if you are in a space where like you are trying to understand BPD or ADHD or any disorder that you do have that involves rejection sensitivity, just know that if you are in like an isolation period, it's okay. Try to enjoy it. Like, really try to enjoy it. Like, because once you come out of that, you are going to really appreciate your alone time for what it is, and understand that there's always going to be a time in your life that you come back to that alone time in order to really like recharge and really get back in tune with yourself, especially with this BPD shit, because we can get out of tune with ourselves so very fast, because so many things impact who we are in any given moment. So many things trigger us at any given moment. So just being able to come back to yourself and not have anything influencing you from the outside is a great I don't even know, can I say skill to have, because it just gives you a peace of mind and a sense of relief from the outside world, and a sense of relief from BPD, because it ain't no hoe. It ain't no hoe. It's out here beating our ass every single day. But being able to come back to yourself is where the fuck it's at. For real.